Entry number 19, June 15th, 2017. I forgot to relate my dream of yesterday morning. I dreamt I was sleeping in the drive thru of a fast food place, maybe Taco Bell. The cashier gave me a black box. I left and went to a field and examined it more closely. It turned out to be a tape recorder. Dream ends. I forgot to mention that I was pleased that it was a tape recorder. I don't exactly remember what I did yesterday. When I left the estate, I took my bag of cans with me, even though I had enough money to buy smokes. Now I remember. I stopped off at Karen Kepik's office and called her. She was there. Oh, she wasn't there. I left a message. I then went to Waterfront Park to collect bottles and cans. I found a few, even though the Fun Center rides had been deassembled. I then went to the bench outside the Starbucks on 2nd and Main to do some uploading. I then went to Whole Foods to turn in my bottles and cans, but the machine was down, so I went to Trader Joe's. This was getting to be a lot of work considering I didn't need the money, but I wanted to get the double layered bags of cans back into my backpack, as it is unsightly, cumbersome, and stinks. I use my backpack, which is broken, almost exclusively for bottles and cans, and their one piece of paraphernalia, the doubled up bags. I think I got $5.70 for my efforts. I then went to Dollar Tree, something I've neglected doing for a long time. There are 3 or 4 food items I consider worth going to Dollar Tree for: garlic salt, cola, Arizona iced tea, green tea with ginseng, and cheese. If there's something else, I don't remember it. When I got to the Dollar Tree on Burnside, the shelves were almost half empty. In search of explanation, I finally found a sign on an empty refrigerator door. It said this location would be closing on June 18th. That explained it. I'll have to start shopping at the Dollar Tree near Beaverton Mall when I get off at the Beaverton Central stop. Hey, for that matter, all my stops that involve 185th. There's a Dollar Tree on 185th, too. Finally, I was ready to go to my tobacco shop. I've been smoking rollies. I then went to the library. I think all I did was noodle around on the World Wide Web. I don't think MWR and Lisa were available to be spoken to. Lately, noodling around on the World Wide Web equates to reading random articles on Wikipedia. After that, I went home. I think I left the library when it closed, and I think I got home at about 8:30. I took a shower last night, as it seemed to me I was getting looks of disgust that day, and as I'd been putting it off. When I take a shower is when I change clothes. I think I then went to bed. I did need my trazodone last night. I'm not sure it helped me sleep. I probably woke up this morning at around 9 o'clock a.m. I got out of the building a little after noon. I left to make sure I made my meeting with my PO. I felt it prudent to leave that early. The appointment was for 1 o'clock p.m., even though his office is quite near. My PO no longer works on the 3rd floor. He now has a real office. He used to have a cubicle on the floor called 2M. His office has no door, but has a curtain. It has a fancy column in one corner, and it has a window. The meeting went fine. I have another appointment with him July 13th at 1 o'clock p.m. The rest of this entry is being written the following day, as I got too sleepy while writing it last night. And unfortunately, I no longer remember yesterday. I must have called Karen Kepik at some point. She wasn't there. I left a message. At some point, I went to the library. I don't think MWR or Lisa were available to chat, so I noodled around on the World Wide Web. I think I got home at 6:30. I don't think I took my trazodone last night. Actually, now I do remember that. I did not take my trazodone last night. This morning I had an appointment with Carly at Cascadia at 9:30 a.m. So I set my alarm for 6:30 a.m. to make sure I made the appointment. I think I went back to sleep for about an hour. The appointment was brief. I made it there an hour early. After the appointment, I was out of smoke, so I went to my tobacco store and bought a pack. I then went home to rest up for my next appointment with Scott at STP at 2 o'clock p.m. Scott stood me up. I stayed until 2:30, but he was still a no-show. I think I must have then gone to the library, and yet it seems if I'd gone directly there, I would have had more time at the library. So I don't know. At some point today, I called Karen Kepik, too. I think it was right after I made my appointment at Cascadia. But I could be wrong. Maybe much of the time was spent reading MWR and Lisa's blogs, but that's just a guess. I left about a half an hour before the library closed. At 6 on Fridays, came home, rested, played some NetHack, and got started on this journal. I have $6.33, all in coins. The time is the time is 8:18 p.m. I forgot to mention that I emailed Scott about his no-show and asked that we set up another appointment. I did that at the library. End of entry.